Hello and welcome back to the Knitting Page channel. If you're new here, my name's Paige. I'm the face behind the Knitting Page. So today I have a regular podcast episode where I'm going to talk about one finished object and a few whips that I have on the go and or plan to be starting. So I'm going to get straight into it. The first whip that I have is a long-standing whip. This has been on my needles since last June, if you can believe it. And by that I mean June 2023. It is now August 2024. And this is the Aoide sweater by Sari Nordlund. And this is a sweater that's in her Timeless Knits book, is what I believe it's called. And this was a sweater that I test knit for Sari Nordlund last spring, summer. And the way that Sari Nordlund's test knits work, that was kind of a tongue twister, is that you only need to complete the collar, a sleeve, and the body up until when you join in the round. And so that was all I completed because, as you can see, this is an all over texture knit. There is not a single line in here that is all stockinette. There is constant knitting, purling, and cables throughout this sweater. It was a challenging knit for me. This is the first like all over cable sweater that I've made, but it was a super rewarding knit. And overall, I really do enjoy the process. In the last podcast episode, I talked about this kind of being like a run that you don't want to go on, but you force yourself to do, and you always feel better after you complete your run. This was like my version of a run I don't want to go on for a knitting project, where I like had a mental block to pick it up and work on it, but as soon as I did pick it up and work on it, I found it to be really rewarding and enjoyable. And I still, like, it boggles my mind that I turned a very long piece of string and or multiple strings into a sweater that's this like textured, complicated, and I'm really proud of myself for finishing it. I'm really proud of myself for like taking on a project like this. And I also want to take on more textured knits after finishing this. I think that there's something really special about like committing to doing a project that is kind of overwhelming and like a bit of like a task to chew, or a hard task to chew. And just like one that where you're like, okay, like this is a commitment to finish this, and I'm not just gonna whip it out, and I need a concentration to work on it. And this is kind of a piece that kind of solidified that, like, okay, I am knitting to not only produce a whole bunch of projects to talk about on YouTube, I'm knitting to create these like timeless pieces. And so if it means taking my time and creating something really beautiful that I'm gonna love for a long time, I'm all here to do it. And I will throw it on just for a little bit. It is really hot. It's like a hot and humid day today. I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you're new here, I just moved here a month and a half ago now. And it's been a process of figuring out like my new day-to-day life, where knitting fits in. I wanted to podcast and like film more than I have this summer, but I've been really happy and really enjoying life out here, and so try to make time and space for sitting down and talking to my camera. But here's the sweater. I'm really pleased with it. I knit it in Estelle Yarn's organic Shetland worsted. So it's a worsted weight wool. It's 100% wool. It's really affordable. It's like less, it's $14, I believe is what I paid. Canadian, so less than $15 for an 100-gram skein. All in all, I used just under 4 balls of yarn. I'm not sure where my little leftovers are, but wait. I added a row onto my excavation blanket, but this, my yarn came undone. This is the amount of yarn that I had left over from this in terms of this was like the 4th skein, and I had about this much yarn left. I don't currently have a scale to measure it, but this much of a cake left, and I have 1 full cake left over that I will throw into some scrappy projects. I find I really like working with a worsted weight wool, and so I do have a lot of different worsted weight leftovers. Maybe it'll be an accent color and stripes. I'm planning to do like a scrappy blue beige kind of vest that I think I'll throw that yarn into. But yeah, this is the overall sweater. I was really nervous when, well, not really nervous, but I got impatient when knitting the first sleeve, and so before blocking it was probably like this short, and I had faith that like when I would stretch it out that it would be like a good bracelet length, which it is. I tend to like my sleeves shorter rather than longer, just because I find that when they're long I have to roll them or they get in the way and they get dirty, and I just find it to be more of a nuisance to wear the sweater than when the sleeve is shorter, and I just feel like I have free range of things. It's not getting caught in things. And so knit it short. I'll include, I guess it makes more sense if I put it over here, but I'll include a video of me wearing the sweater pre-blocking, and it did grow a lot post-blocking, and overall I'm like really happy with the fit. I think I could have knit the sleeve maybe like a centimeter or two longer so that it does hit like here if I had my arms out to the side, but overall maybe one day I'll go back and rip it out, but it doesn't really bother me. I think it's still a fine length. This sweater was definitely a skill extender project as well. Like as you can see, there's all over cables. Let me take it off and I will also hold it up closer. Oops, let me fix the sleeve. So hopefully you can see some of the details. There are mistakes in this sweater, but there's so much going on that some of the mistakes, like one of them is like way up here, and I didn't realize it was a mistake until I was wearing it the other day, and I just noticed one of the cables was done incorrectly, and I was like, well, it took me that long to find it. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, there's that one little mistake, and there's another couple mistakes. There's one row at the bottom that I messed up as well, but from far away and with so much going on, I didn't want to tank back. By the time I realized it, I was past the point of it being an easy fix. But there were a couple, there's one row where I switched the cables, and it was only like a row or two after that I realized. And so I was actually able to go back and, you know, when you just like lift your stitch off and you pull it back to the stitch that you need to fix, I was able to go that and refix and recross my cables in the correct way. So that was kind of like a little champion moment for me, where I was able to do that on a cable knit. And in the past, I've only been able to do it with knit and purl, mostly just like stockinette or ribbed pieces. And so being able to work back on the cables, and I actually just kind of figured out for myself, I didn't watch a YouTube video or anything like that. That was kind of a nice little growing opportunity for me as a knitter. The sleeves have this lovely half twisted rib detail that I think is really beautiful, as does the collar and the bottom hem of the sweater. And it's just a sewn bind off. It's not a tubular cast off where you do the 2 rows of double knitting. I found this knit, well, it took me so long because there's a lot of intimidation to this, just because it was a 24 repeat, like a 24 row repeat for the chart, the cabled chart. And I just found like I didn't knit on it consistently enough to know the pattern off by heart. By the end of knitting the sweater, there were rows and sections of the chart where I knew, okay, it's the same thing for 3 things, and then I do this and that, or I could look at it and know which way to face or put the cable needle, whether it's holding it in the front or the back. But overall, it was a pattern that I had to have my piece of paper. And so I actually finished the sweater. I went back to Thunder Bay to go visit my parents a few days ago now for 10 days. And I knew I wanted to bring a project, and I was kind of like, what do I bring? Like I'll show you a few projects that are on my needles, and they're all kind of at various states. But I knew that this is a project where I'm a teacher, for those of you that don't know, and so I'm off this summer, and I start school on Thursday, which is really exciting. Well, I start like going back for some professional development before the school year begins. But I knew that I had these days where I had very few mental commitments or commitments in general, that I was gonna have time to just sit and, like, if I only brought this project, it would force me to work on it. And so this was a project that I brought to Thunder Bay, and it is one that I finished in Thunder Bay. And thankfully I left a wool wash at my parents' house, so I was able to wash it and block it there and even get wear out of it for a couple days. I knit it on the plane, and it was funny, like, I don't know, I feel like in the airport, whenever someone sees you knitting, they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And then to be knitting like a sweater that was like this complicated, like usually I just knit something stockinette, there was like a lot of like oohs and ahs, which was kind of nice for people to come, stop and say hi, and just chat to me about it. But yeah, I'm super pleased with this, and I definitely want to knit more like Sari Nordlund has a lot of beautiful cabled patterns. I believe the the Billy cardigan is one that I really want to knit. Those twins who knit, one of them made it and it was so beautiful. And I think I would get a lot of wear out of it. I tend to wear my cardigans more than I wear my sweaters, just I find them to be a little more wearable and to wear it like instead of a blazer or whatnot when I'm going to work. But this is a sweater that I think will get a lot of wear. I think it looks like I could wear it to work and it looks nice and professional with like a score or a pair of pants is kind of the vibe I'm thinking of. Once it gets cooler, I'm excited to like layer it with cool blazers and jackets. Right now, I can't even think of having that on for like the 5 minutes. I'm already like, whoo, that's toasty. But that's my one and only finished object. And it honestly, I know if you've been here a while, I tend to have like 1,000 projects on the go, and you'll see here that I'm going to talk to you about 4 whips that I've been kind of haphazardly working on here or there that I plan to get back into rotation. And I filmed a frogget or finished video, and so 2 of the whips that I'm going to talk about are going to be the ones that I bring into rotation. This Aoide sweater was one from my frogget or finished video, and I decided to finish it, cast it off the needles, and I just feel like really proud of finally finishing it and getting it done. And it does make me want to do a few more like commitment style knits and just like have that in one stockinette project on the go. But I'm trying to just work down what I have on my needles so that it feels just less overwhelming with this new chapter of my life. So I will get into whips. The most active whip that I've been talking about on my channel recently is my Vienna Blouse. And this is a project that I have not been following the pattern exactly as it's written. So I will give you a little, let me tie this, little preview of the blouse. But I have everything done except for the front ties and the body. I'm still kind of figuring out what length to knit that, but I finished both sleeves. I have the top like necktie and I-cord done, and I have 2 out of the 4 additional little I-cord ties that I need to knit done, which I will add 1/3 and 2/3 of the way down this like open hole. And so this blouse, I should do the hanger thing like Nina's has been doing, but we're gonna roll with this for right now. But this blouse is, I think it's really cute. I can try it on to show you what it looks like currently as a whip. I have my, what are they called? Like those cord things that you add to make sure that you don't slip your stitches off your needles. The sleeves, they kind of have like a little flutter sleeve. I'm not sure how I feel about them, but I think I'm just going to keep them for now. And then I'll add these 2 additional ties here. Probably would tie this tighter if I was actually wearing it, but you get the gist. The other thing that's nice about this top is you can wear it from the front, or you just awkwardly flip her around. So you can wear the ties at the front or at the back with like a more seamless t-shirt look. But I am knitting this in Noro Sonata, which has polyamide, and the other things are like a summer fiber blend. Like it has silk and cotton and I think lyocell in it, is, or viscose or lyocell is what the blend is. But it's super soft and drapey, and I think it's also gonna grow and relax more once I do decide to block it. So that is one that's almost done. I just need to sit down and do those ties and then finish up the body and do that double folded hem. That's what I did for the sleeves and what I plan to do for the body as well, to kind of give it that nice seamless look. I debated about doing I-cord finishings, but I think I do prefer the look of the double folded hem. I just think it's a little more seamless. So my Vienna blouse is, by next podcast, I feel like I say this a lot, but like by next podcast, it really should be done. I debated about bringing 2 projects to Thunder Bay and finishing both this blouse and the Aoide sweater, but just based on the size of my carry-on, I I only brought the Aoide sweater. That's actually a lie. I brought my camisole number 7, but I'm thinking of frogging that one because I'm not really feeling the vibe anymore. And I'd rather use that yarn to knit the mixed rib camisole by Florence, just because I love that pattern. I know it works and I like the fit of it. And I know it's like workwear professional. And so I'm kind of just, I haven't frogged it yet just because I have these other ones to work on, but I knit like 2 rows of it at home and I just wasn't feeling it. And so I'm going to frog it, just still sitting on the needles. So the Vienna Blouse is my active whip that is almost done. Those 4 ties and then a few more rounds of the body for the double hem is all that it needs. And so excited to have that off. And I think it will be a nice top to kind of transition from summer to fall, just with like the cooler brown, whatchamacallit, colors. I think will be a nice like fall transition piece, but it still has that like summer flowy vibe to it. The other top that I'm really excited to have off my needles is the Solar Tube Top by Ullen knitwear. This was like the one project I cast on this summer, aside from like it's the one true project I've casted on since moving to Halifax. And so hopefully you can see the stripes. It's all browns and I want to do like a little monochrome moment. I debate about doing like a bluey white, kind of like light blue, navy blue, white vibe, but I had 2 balls of the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Dark Cognac that I wanted to use. And as I'm talking about this, I'm slipping my stitches off the needle, so I will throw them back on. Anyways, I wanted to use up my cognac, and I knew that there was a knitting store in Halifax that sold Knitting for Olive, and so I went there, and I also had some powder, but I have enough powder to make like a full garment. Like I have 3 balls, so it's like safe to make any garment, like summer top for my size. And I kind of felt bad about breaking up one of the balls to throw into this project. And so I wound up buying Brown Bear in the colorway Haze, I believe. It's either Haze or Oatmeal. I think it's Haze. And I've been using these to knit up the top. It is giving me rustic cowboy. I really want to wear this with like, I have a black mini skirt from Wilfred that's like kind of more of like a menswear dressy skirt. And I think this top with that skirt and a pair of cowboy boots is going to be like super, super cute. And because it's all stockinette and there's some short rows for the bust shaping, it goes really easily, like it flies off the needles. And then because you're doing stripes, you're just constantly doing something new and different. So this didn't take me that long to knit up the size that I do have. It has elastic details under the bust and above the bust just to have the top stay in place, especially using a silk yarn. Silk grows and stretches, so having that elastic in there will help keep its shape and form. So I went and bought the elastic when I was in Thunder Bay, brought it back, didn't bring this project with me, but that was kind of like the slow up is I went to a couple shops just around where I live and I couldn't find the right size of elastic. And so went in Thunder Bay with my mom and got the elastic. And so this should also be progressing relatively quickly. It's again that nice mix of like it's stockinette, but because there are stripes, it's just so addicting to knit. And so I've really been enjoying that. And I've really been into the whole tube top thing this summer. I just find them super easy to wear. And so I'm excited to have like my own little hand knit moment so that I can wear my sweater. Okay, the next 2 projects are projects that I haven't actively been working on, but that I want to bring into rotation. And I assume I'll bring them in this order. And so this is the Talia cardigan. It is a cardigan that's from one of the Sandnes Garn booklets. I'm knitting it in Line by Sandnes Garn, which is like a cotton linen lyocell blend or something like that. I've knit my blouse number 1 holding tin Lina double. So basically the same as Lina or Line or however you say it. And this is one I thought I was going to knit this dress from the same booklet and I haven't cast it on. I don't know if I'm going to cast it on, but I bought enough yarn for it. Anyways, I knit the cardigan and I think it's going to be, again, a nice piece to transition from summer to fall. it's supposed to be a cropped cardigan, and so I really don't have that much more of the body, and then I have the arm and just like a little finishing I-cord detail as well. So I think there's really not that much left of this, and so how quickly I knit the Aoide sleeve, and that was like a textured all over knit. I think that knitting this plain stockinette sleeve is going to be so quick and easy. It's just a matter of, I want to finish the body first and then do the sleeve. So getting that body done is the next plan, and then having that as like that nice little, it's a plant-based fiber sweater, and so, or cardigan I should say. So I think it will be a piece that will transition like nicely in that late summer, early fall, where you get those hot days midday, but then you also, there's cooler temperatures in the morning. Anyways, I'm looking forward to having that off my needles. This is going to be a shorter episode than normal, so you're welcome or sorry, depending on where you sit on that line. But the last project that I am planning to bring back into rotation is my Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. And this is one that I was really enjoying knitting on, and then I sat on the needles and just procrastinated buying new needles. Part of it was that I sat on an interchangeable tips for my Haya bamboo set, and I feel like nowhere sells Haya, at least none of like the local yarn stores I can walk to sell Haya, and so it was like, or walk to, drive to, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, okay, do I like order online? And then if I order online, do I pay for shipping for these needles, or do I buy yarn to do it? And I've bought some yarn recently, but I haven't really ordered a lot of yarn recently, or at least not from places that sell Haya, and I'm trying not to buy yarn unless I have a very clear specific project. And so this one has kind of sat, but I did just wind up going to buy a pair of Chiago red lace needles on the 4mm, just because I use 4mm all the time. And I thought that it'd be just, I enjoy the Haya, I enjoy the Chiago fixed circular needles a lot for projects, but I already have the interchangeables, and the interchangeables have their pros and cons, but I do find that these are like the most enjoyable knitting experience. So went and bought a pair of those. I did like one row just to transfer them from the broken Hayas over to this, and then it's been sitting stagnant, but that's one that I want to bring back into rotation. I think it, again, will just be a great fall piece. I really love cardigans, as I've talked about, and I think that that will be one that, again, it's going to be nice to just clear off some of these old projects before I start casting on new things. I may allow myself to cast on a new project once I finish the 2 summer tops and bring something new into rotation to complement the 2 cardigans, maybe a new sweater. But these 4 projects, I have other long-standing whips and whips that I've worked on here or there, but these are the ones that I have worked on the most, as in my solar tube top and the Vienna blouse, or the ones that I plan to work on, such as the Talia cardigan and my Eva cardigan. And so that is all for today. It's short and sweet, but I want to sit down, I want to film, I want to get this video out, and so I'm hoping to get back into routine, but I am just trying to figure out my life a bit and starting this new job. I'm trying to make time for YouTube, trying to make time for knitting, but also trying to make time for myself, and I've been running more competitively than I have for the past year, and so like that's been taking more time, and just hanging out with friends, trying to build a community here in Halifax has also been a big priority of mine. So life kind of comes and ebbs and flows, and I think definitely on like a bi-weekly basis is what I've seemed to be putting out, but I would love to get back to like a weekly, I don't know if I was ever consistently at a weekly basis, but get to a weekly basis, just because I enjoy putting it out, I enjoy building that community. So yeah, that is all for now, and until next time, happy knitting! Bye!